And now, live in the Madhouse studio, the two guys that have brought Madhouse TV to the nation, Tom Mele and Tommy Maher.
Yeah. What's up?
What's up? So we're back.
Here we are. Here we are in the new digs.
We have an amazing, amazing guest tonight. Now, of all of you who know me, I am so far from a believer in this stuff, but my partner over here, he lives it. So this is going to be an interesting thing tonight. What do you think?
I'm very excited.
I want to know this thing about the guitar. You know, before we actually started, our guest tonight, who, do you want to, she's what is she, a psychic, right?
Yeah.
So she kind of like reads minds or something?
No, she talks to spirits, and she's a very spiritual person and gets messages from people that have left us and that they're around and taking care of us, and angels. And
You know, my mother's watching tonight, so, and I told her that this young lady's going to be on the show tonight, and she knows how this kind of like freaks me out a little bit. So say hello to her.
Don't be
By the way,
freaked
she
out.
sent you a nice Christmas card.
I love your mother.
You know, so
I hope
at least
that 80
somebody's,
degrees down there is feeling a lot better than the blizzard we had yesterday.
and you should call her more often than you do.
I will.
All
I
right.
promise.
My mother, by the way. Anyway, I don't really get into this too much because I don't believe in it. You know, I think that, you know, once you're dead, you're dead. You know, I mean, Vicky and I have talked many times. You know, when it's our time to go, you know, I don't care if you throw us in the garbage can. You know, we're done.
Your body means nothing.
So
your
what are you
body
saying?
means
You're saying that
nothing.
people
That's
are
just a
floating
vehicle.
around? How am I possibly even going to remotely
did you-
comprehend that?
Did you ever just look out at the sky at night
Yeah.
and say, what is even the space that's out there?
Well, it was before I smoked
You
a
can't
joint
even-
or after I smoked, because I don't
know.
it's
You're a
either
big
one. I
hitter
don't
with
know.
that, you know.
I'm sorry, Ma, I didn't really smoke a joint, at least not when she was around. But anyway, no, yeah, I did look at the sky.
Well,
And
I
I
mean-
think that there's aliens. I think that there's other, there's something else beyond
Life
here.
forms.
But do I think that people are floating around and there's spirits? No.
They're not floating around. They're in their own world. They're in their own dimension. You know, this is just a physical dimension. There's spiritual dimensions too. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but when you leave your body, you go into a spiritual dimension, correct?
But let me ask you a question. If Elvis is in a spiritual dimension, why? I mean, you can't come back here. You can't
Sure
let
you
us
can.
know you're here.
But
Well, why don't they?
Well, a lot of them go on their journeys to other things. I
Well,
mean, it's not that they have to, you know, I mean, I think they come when you need them. That's what I think. I mean,
Okay.
they're not constantly going, oh, God, this is what I got to do for eternity, watch this guy. You know, they're not doing that. But when you sit down and say, God, you know, or you're in trouble, or you pray, or, you know, you need some help.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go into this with an open mind. Don't get me wrong.
good.
I mean, I'm not one to have a closed mind to things. I mean, you know, why is she looking at me? You know, I mean, but, you know, I'm going to go into this with an open mind. And you know what? I would love to have somebody change, you know, the way I think of this. Because
Maybe.
there's so many people out there that do believe in, you know, that there's spirits and there's these orbs and these things behind the cameras. And we used to have that one guy on here. What was that clown's name? Remember that guy that we had on here? What was his name? What was his name?
I don't.
I don't remember.
Him-
She's not going to tell me. We had a couple of people.
Oh,
we did have a
yeah,
good
I
psychic
know.
on here. That guy,
And,
what's
and
his
he
name?
freaks you out.
Yeah, what was that guy's
So-
name? He did a show. Christopher, yeah, he was good.
He got
Now,
you.
he was good. He
got
freaked me out a little
Well,
bit.
now what happened that day? Did you change any of your thinking that day?
No,
Oh, okay. Because I know he got you pretty good.
he did. And then there was the one woman who said, or was, I don't know if it was him or it was another woman, she said to me, she says that there was a girl standing behind me, and she was in a uniform.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she says that she forgave me. Do I got this right? She forgave me for not being able to attend. And I said, well, but attend what? I didn't know anybody in a uniform that died. And when it came down to it, and I'm going to try to cut through this real quick because I want to get our guest here, and I want to talk about something before we bring her on. But after all the hoopla was gone, it was my cousin Joanne,
I remember.
because she was in a blue Navy uniform or some sort of a uniform. And I said, and he started telling me, or she, I don't remember what it was, a male or a female that did this. I know it wasn't Chris, but started coming out with things that only Joanne would have known about. I still don't believe it. But anyway,
Open up your mind.
Joanne, she was my cousin. She died, rather young. It was only a couple of years ago. And I wanted to go to the funeral, but I couldn't make it. I couldn't do it. Some things stopped.
She
us
let
from
you
going.
know.
And she let me know that it was fine that I wasn't there.
Now, that right there, that's what I'm talking about. She knew that you needed to have that relief because it probably bothered you.
It didn't bother me.
It didn't bother you that you didn't go?
Not really. You see, I have a problem with, I tell you what, I have a problem with people that are dead because I don't really like going to funerals.
I don't either. I hate it.
Because what am I looking at? I'm looking at a body in a box.
I agree with you.
And I always said, that the Jews got this right.
They do.
They do. They go to IKEA, they get a box off the shelf,
Yeah.
they put it together, the person goes in the ground, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
The Catholics, we got to buy a fancy coffin, got $10,000.
Hire the mourners, the jumpers,
You
the
got to
screamers.
you got to look at it for 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
The person's dead,
that
right?
To me, it's like throwing the trash out.
That's it.
Your soul and your spirit is.
So
gone.
I don't like going to funerals. In fact, I think going to funerals, one of the things I really hate is that's kind of like the last impression.
That's
if-
why I don't like
yeah,
it. Because when
you
the name
see-
comes up, I don't think of them being alive and sitting down having fun. I think of them being in a box.
You think of them in a box,
with
yeah.
bad makeup.
With the
right.
face all, with like the makeup, the bad makeup job.
Right,
So
I
I know that eventually, I'm going to have to go to funerals for family members. I mean, eventually, let's face it all happens. Not that I'm hoping you go anytime soon, Ma. All right, just hang in there a little while longer. But as far as going, for friends and stuff, would rather remember them, like what we're doing here,
Right.
or
I agree.
I don't want to
Have a
say,
party.
God forbid something happens to Matt. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go not out of respect. Not anything's going to happen to you, Matt. But I wouldn't go out of respect. I wouldn't go because I'd rather remember him sitting on a chair with that stupid hat on.
That's cool.
So
No, I understand
you got
that,
it?
and I do understand that because I'm the same way. I mean, when the name comes up, that's what comes into my head.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
smell. I hate the smell.
Oh, I
Because
thought you meant the
I
smell
lost
of
a
them.
friend when I was 10 years old. We were at the high school, and he jumped over a tennis net, and he caught his foot, and he hit his head, and he died. And it was the first, and I went to the wake by myself with a friend of mine.
What
It
do they
was
smell like?
just the flowers, the flowers.
You like the smell of flowers?
I think it was just a bad, because I was so young, and I probably shouldn't have been allowed to go by myself at 10 or 11, whatever it was. And I can still, to this day, see that kid perfectly. I could tell you exactly what he had on. I could tell you, but the smell, I never liked that smell in me. Like
Of
I walk into a
flowers.
florist shop, it kind
It gets
of makes
you.
me nauseous.
Oh, I thought you meant the body was smelling.
No.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen. One thing, we got to cut the commercial. We're going to come back with our fabulous guest here tonight on In the Hot Seat. But before we go to commercial, one thing, because I don't want to forget, Saturday, March 4th.
14th.
You guys see the spirit.
It's
is
not
knocking on the
March,
door.
it's December.
December 14th, 1 o'clock. Please, people, post it, send it out there through the web, Facebook, Twitter. I don't care how you get it out there. Blow up a balloon and send it up. This is for the kids at the Ronald McDonald Foundation. This foundation was built to help the parents of those who cannot afford a simple hotel room while their kid is laying in a hospital bed, either getting brain surgery or having, God forbid, cancer or some sort of very serious debilitating injury. This foundation was founded to help the parents and get these kids through the kids and the parents through this trying time. And both Tommy and I are going to be hosting Ronald McDonald Christmas this Saturday, December 14th, starting at 1 o'clock. If it's a very simple thing, we made it very simple that you no longer have to go to the Madhouse TV page. Just simply go to ronaldmcdonaldchristmas.com, and it swiftly takes you over to the show, and just click it on, and there will be at 1 o'clock.
And even more importantly, we are going to try to raise some money for them. This is going to be streamed throughout the entire world. It's not going to be a local. It's going to be throughout wherever there's a computer in the world. And believe me, we both been there. Tom's been there twice. I've been there twice. I mean, it will bring you to your knees. I mean, it put you in a real reality check. You know, I'm actually trying not to ever complain again, because after being there and seeing what these kids, and looking at the faces of the family members, I mean, it just brought me to, I can't even explain. I'm getting like worked up now, but even if it's $5, $1, $2, this, you know, they don't make money. This is all contributions. I mean, the big guys stepped up. I mean, Coca-Cola and a few of them. Each one of them do a room. Every room is different. It's beautiful, but you have mixed feelings. Like when we walk, you feel very sad, but then you say, "My God, though."
You're very happy that this exists.
How much sadder would it be without this? Because it looks like you said, it looks like Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, you'll see. I mean, you'll see. Tommy and I are going to be there hosting the show. We have a lineup of entertainers to beat every lineup. I mean, the best entertainers on Long Island are going to be there, and we've got a lot of politicians coming in. You know, hopefully the county executive, both county executives are going to show up. So we got a lot going on. This is big for us. This is the first time we're doing something of this magnitude, and we got it under control. What do you think?
I think it would be. I think I will rest forever in peace, just knowing we did this, because I think it's that important and that good.
Just don't come back and haunt me. We'll be right back after this
You're going
commercial.
first.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 cup.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hot set and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
We are back, and I want to welcome our guest, Josephine Griring. And
You had a rough time with that.
no,
Say it 3 times fast.
Josephine Griring.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just kidding.
Josephine is a well-known psychic medium, and she's done radio, TV, fundraisers, and various events. And her office is located in Selden, New York, where she does private readings in small groups. Josephine will also travel out to a private party at your home or small group, wherever it may be, for a reading of 10, where everyone gets read. See, as opposed to the ones on TV where only one person or something gets read. So you all get read, that's major. That's very good. I've never heard that before. That's very, very good. She has been doing her own radio show for 6 years on WMJC 94.3 FM, live on the air. And she has taught psychic and spiritual development classes at Hofstra University. She now teaches Holbrook Wellness at the Holbrook Wellness Center. And she's available for fundraisers. And you can go to her website, which is at www.Josephine, well, it's actually cut short, right? JOSEPHINEG.com. And for you slower people, you can just go back and watch it again and get that. She's very proud to announce that her last fundraiser that she did for the Karen Baldwin Foundation raised over $27,000 towards the cure for breast cancer. I take my hat off to you.
Wow, very
God bless.
cool.
Thank you.
And tonight, we will be doing some communication and answering some questions that Tom needs to hear the answers to. So
I don't need to hear.
this ought to be really
I'm
good. I'm
still
really
interested-
looking forward
I'm
to
still interested in the guitar.
it. All right. So without further ado,
Without an ado. Okay, so can I, let me ask you. How long, it's like a cross-examination, you know, I feel like I'm in the
you're
courtroom.
not going to scare her.
No, of course not. I'll leave that out of the picture. How long have you been doing this?
Probably about 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What got you involved with, well, how did you know that you had this disability?
Well, from when I was very little, I would actually see spirits. And I came from a very big French and Italian family. 8 kids, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, you know, everybody lived together. So, you know, it's not something you could actually speak about because there was a lot that was going on in the house. And I just didn't know what it was.
You mean a lot in the house from spirits or a lot in the house for
from
people of the flesh?
People of the flesh.
Oh, okay. No, I just want to
People
make
of the
sure
flesh.
we got that out of. There's a lot of, you know, like, because Italians.
And French. My
Yeah.
mother is up there saying, don't leave her out. Because
Okay.
I would always say I'm Italian. My mother would say, Jose, you're French too. She's
So
born in
there was a
France.
lot going on, and you started seeing these spirits, but of course, were you afraid to tell people that you were seeing them?
I really didn't even think anything of it. I didn't think to explain to people because I was so young. I was a child that I didn't even know what it was. I was just afraid. And at that time, because my sister and I actually shared a room, I would just kind of put my head under the covers. And it was a big 3-family brownstone that we lived in. And so upstairs, the parlor was downstairs, as they called it. And on the second floor, there was my sister and I, and then the partition that my father had built, and my brothers on the other side. And so at night, I would look up and I would actually see spirits like almost looking over the partition. So it was very scary as a child, not understanding it, and not really, I mean, what do you say? Who do you go to? I mean, the house, my parents had all to do. My mother took care of 8 kids, and my father worked at Grand Central Station, and he was a mail carrier. And they were always, you know, busy. My mom was busy doing, and my father was busy working, and the kids, you know, at night, we were doing our family projects
Would you
and
see
all
these
that.
spirits just at night or anytime?
It's only when I was relaxed because you can actually see much better the auric field of a person. You can see spirits when you, and that's why a lot of times when I read, I actually close my eyes.
You know, because I don't know, what is an auric field?
Everybody emanates to a certain vibrational energy, everybody. And so if you look over a person's head, and especially it's when the lights are dim, you can actually, these are bright lights here, but you can actually see the colors that a person has around them. And we were talking about the color purple. So usually you connect to whatever color that you emanate to. Like, what's your favorite color?
You know, I got to tell you, I don't know if I have a favorite color. You know, Vicki and I had talked about this. I'm serious.
well, if you were buying a car, what would the car?
White.
Okay.
See, I've never had a car of color other than my truck, which is really not a color because it's a gunmetal gray.
Well, see, the thing is, you are actually black or white. There is no
I
gray
am.
for you. So you actually see things either one way or another. There's no in between for you. You're rock solid with that. Anybody who lives with you would say, yes, this is true. It's just, people are different. Everybody is different. But the auric field, to get back to that, is everybody emanates to different colors, which speaks about them and who they are. So, I'm sure you love the color purple.
I do.
So purple, by the way,
We
and
just
it's
painted our bathroom in here purple.
lovely. And I think, what's interesting is that you're wearing purple, and ironically, that has to do with...
No, it has to do because I didn't have any dry cleaning.
It has to do with spirituality, believe it or not. And everything happens for a reason. So don't think that you just wore that because everything else was dirty. Everything happens for a reason, which I think is really pretty cool. There is no such thing as coincidence. Everything is synchronicity.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. But just for a minute, because, I mean, if the two of you are going to try to convince me tonight, and,
Yeah, there's no
that there,
convincing.
I have some very, very interesting questions. What did these spirits look like to you? Well, let me rephrase that. What time did these spirits appear to come from?
Now, are you speaking in a past life regression situation?
No, yeah,
or just,
almost like
or
a
just
past life
when I
regression.
read in a group?
So, when you see, listen, and I'm not making a joke out of it, but remember the movie Abbott and Costello?
Yes.
Do you remember when they saw spirits? All the spirits they saw were from either the 12th century, the 13th century, the 14th century. So my question would be is, in what time period did these spirits appear to you in? Was it 12th
And now
century?
we're going back to when I was a child?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's a very big difference in when you do a group reading, when you do a private reading. Sometimes when I'm doing a private reading, a person, if they are an old soul, their past lives may come to fruition. It may come to the surface. And so I may speak to them about what their past life was.
Prior to the one that they just died in.
Well, now I'm talking about a live person that comes to me for a reading.
Oh, what that person's past life
Yes.
is all about.
Yes. So let's say a person comes to me for a reading. There are times when their past life will come to the surface. And, oftentimes, the fact of the matter is, if we have phobias come from a past life. So we come into this lifetime, some people, they can't cross a bridge. Some people can't drive. Some people can't fly. If they are at a point in their life where they say, I want to seek out maybe, a person to regress me, put me into a state of hypnosis so that I can maybe find out, why this is. My sister had a very big fear, a phobia where she couldn't really drive more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes from the house. I mean, that's crippling, absolutely crippling. And she went to, she had a past life regression.
That's agoraphobia, right?
No, because agoraphobic is if you cannot leave the house. You can't really even go outside the house. That's even worse. But you still are crippled if you can't drive. And so she went, and I don't know who the hypnotherapist was, but when they put her under, she went back and she relived a situation that happened to her in a past life where she hit a tree and she died. And
In an automobile.
Yes, in an automobile.
So her past life had to be
From 30 up.
from the 20s.
Yeah.
From the 20s up. Is that normal? Can you have a past life within under 100 years?
There is no time limit on it. All of this there's no time limit on anything. That's the beauty of really understanding metaphysics and spirituality. One of the first things that people will ask me is, how do I know I have the gift? And can I make this grow? And can I be better? And can this help me? And the fact of the matter is, whether you're aware of it or not, everybody has the ability. And what it's called is gut instinct. And everybody has that. So some people are born with a high level of intuitiveness. And some people, there's old souls and there's younger souls. And there's people who are very open and want to reach a level of seeing, sensing, feeling. Then there's other people who don't want to have anything to do with it at all, and it's all okay, because it's all about living your life the best way that you can. That's what spirituality is all about, and really taking into consideration, who you are. What's my purpose? And many people who get involved in spirituality, that's what they want to know. Why am I here? What is my purpose? There must be something greater than just this. And there is. And once you allow yourself to tap into that spirituality, a whole new world opens up to you. And you're able to live with the fact that people in your life that are so precious to you have passed. And people that, to a certain degree, of course, you don't want to live without, and sometimes you feel you can't. But without the true belief in knowing that there is life beyond this, you're able to hold on to your faith and trust, which is what this is all about, and say, we'll be, together again. We'll be reunited again.
Is it sad, or is it not normal to have any people in your past life that have passed away to say, I couldn't care less, or it doesn't really matter that they're not here? Is that a normal thing?
Well, you use the word normal a lot, and there's not a gauge of
Out
normal.
of all the people that have passed away in my family that I know of, I think that truly there's only one person who I could honestly say I truly miss. But all the rest of them, doesn't matter to me.
But you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
Will those people
all
come
okay.
back to me?
Do you want them to?
I don't really care.
Then they won't.
Only for one. And I got to tell you, my Uncle Bob was somebody who I lived with. And we bonded. We were more friends than nephew and uncle. And him, that hit me hard. And I must think about him at least 10, 15, 20 times a year. You know, and but everybody else, if they wanted to stay gone, it wouldn't matter to me.
Yeah, but you know what? It's okay, because it's who matters to us. People come in and out of our lives, and oftentimes, many times, it's people who are not literally your blood family, that oftentimes they are your family, people who come into your life, and people come into your life for a reason. And that is so clear after the impact and the influence that somebody has on you that you love so deeply. There are sometimes you'll meet someone, you never met them before, but you're like, I don't know what it is. There's such a connection.
So you're saying that I met that person in a prior life?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You and I, we
Well,
met at the bully thing.
I wanted to bring that up because I really feel, and I've spoken about this, that I feel that the four of us are here for a reason. And as we just spoke, because I really think, because the way it went down, how it happened is really bizarre. It was a 1 in 6 chance. I did a benefit against bullying, and it was in 6 different clubs on Long Island. They just happened to pick the club I was playing at. They just happened to pick me to interview, and we've done nothing. This whole thing, I feel we've done nothing but help people. And now, and it's getting bigger. And I feel that this is why this all came together. Because, this Ronald McDonald thing, not only the Ronald McDonald thing, I've already had 2 musicians I had on my show signed already. They would have never gotten that before. We've done nothing but help people. Gayle King has a show with breast cancer, and anything, in that vein of helping people. I really believe that this is a very spiritual place, and I really believe that we were all meant to be here for this mission. I really, truly believe that.
I believe that beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind and in my heart. And what's interesting is, yes, you were brought together for a very special purpose, and you're actually living out that purpose, which is really special because a lot of people don't get to. And you're doing that, and you're doing a great job reaching out to so many people. That's incredible. And that's what it's all about, is really helping people, because whatever you give out from the heart, you get back 1,000-fold. So it's just it's a universal truth, actually. So it's like the lamescape, you know, it's the forever energy. Whatever it is that you put out is what you're going to get back. It's like whatever seeds you sow, so shall you reap. And that's what it's all about. And I just think it's
I
pretty
also
fascinating.
have another question, like what Tom was talking about before. Why is it that kids are so much more open? Is it because their minds are so much cleaner and clearer? Because, like, I'll give you an example. My my grandson, and I have witnesses right in here. He would come in the living room. I have 6 grandsons that live with me.
Okay.
But when the second one was 2, when he was little, even smaller than that, he would come in the living room and he would constantly look in the same exact spot and go, "Cook is here, Cook is here," and he would just point and he would go, "The Cook is here, the Kuka." And I would tell him, because I wanted to believe it was, you know, I won't say, but
Yeah.
I wanted to believe that it was a good person, and because he was never scared of it, but he would let you know it was there, and then it just disappeared, you know. But
Well, the reason for that is because children see beyond the veil. So before they reach the age of, I'm going to say right around school, they are totally pure of heart. They are not scarred.
Right.
They are not bogged down with schoolwork and this and kids and jealousy and bullying and all that, which is very, very, very stressful out there,
and does
unfortunately.
Spirit find it easier to go through the children?
Yes. Yes, because there's no blocks.
Right.
There's no blockages, which is a beautiful thing. And as they go to school and as they start to experience the school of life, which is very difficult, all the challenges begin once there has to be an intermingling of human beings, because personalities is the hardest thing to really deal with. So that's when it may start to decline. But I find that if a child is open, I was, as a child, very, very open. It did dissipate at a certain point in time. For me, I felt that it dissipated once 8th grade, more, high school, because my thoughts, my mind were elsewhere. So when you get very, very busy, and those are the active years, it's the years of starting a job, school, thinking about college, having a boyfriend. Your world is different, so it's not there, and that's when things start to dissipate. But yes, children see through the veil.
We're going to cut you short. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to be right back. You're watching Madhouse TV. You are in the hot seat here with Tommy, myself, and a wonderful guest here. But I have a lot more questions, Josephine, that I've got to ask when we come back. We'll be right back after this commercial message.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act One will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Welcome back to In the Hot Seat. Before we went to commercial, Josephine, I had a quick question regarding deja vu. I noticed that a lot more people, or when you're younger, you have a lot more deja vu than you do when you're older. Is there a reason behind that?
For some people. For some people. Not all.
Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason.
No.
I have it more now.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it more now, too.
You had mentioned past life regression. Now, I used to date these two twins, and one was a lawyer, and one was a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And they actually, and this is another thing my mother didn't know about, because they were their landlords. And
She's finding out
and
everything tonight, your mom.
I used to date both of them, and they looked very much alike, which was a lot of fun, but that's another story in itself. But one of them, the psychiatrist, said to me, "Do you want me to regress you back to your prior life?" Now, of course, all I knew at that point was I was going upstairs to her bedroom, and she was going to put me on this bed, and she lit these candles, and she did her thing. Make a long story short, according to her, I was under for about 10, 15 minutes, or whatever it was. According to me, nothing ever happened, because I don't ever remember it, and I don't ever remember falling asleep. But she told me that she reached out to my past life. Now, this is what I find really bizarre. I like horses. If you would have told me, yeah, you were a cowboy back in the 18th century, you lived in the Midwest, I would have said, maybe she's right, because I really get into horses and things back from the Midwest. But she came back and she told me that I was some Japanese warrior that lived in the 12th century. And to me, I have no interest in the Japanese culture. I have no interest in, other than Chinese food. I have no interest in this, but I got to tell you, my wife said that she actually knew what my name was back then. Can I tell him what she said to me? She says, well, I knew what your name was back in the 12th century when you were a Japanese warrior. She says, your name was some dumb shit. So, my point is if this woman really regressed, did you ever get regressed back?
No.
You really should try it, because I would love to know what you were.
Well, the thing is,
Is that possible?
Most of the time when somebody gets regressed, though, you tape it because you want them to hear what they say.
Oh, that would freak me out.
And what's going on. That's very, very important. I am a certified hypnotherapist, and I did it, back in the past, and had some really unbelievable.
Can you still do that today? Can you hypnotize
I can, but
somebody?
do I? No.
Why?
Because now I'm doing my private readings, I'm doing my groups, and it's something that I have decided that, because you really have to put a lot of energy and a lot of focus in that. And because, there really aren't a lot of people around who are good at that. That's the bottom line. And so I was getting a lot of people, and I did have an experience that the person, when I did put them under, and they did go to a place, they actually astral projected, and they really kind of freaked out, and they felt like they were losing control. I thought they were going to have a heart attack right on the table. So, needless to say, that was a rather frightening experience, but you know how many people work years and years to astral project? Do you know how wonderful of a feeling that is? But most people, and a lot of people don't like to lose control. So when this individual felt like his he didn't know what the situation was leaving his body, which was the astral body, going off into the astral plane for moments. As I said, that's what happened. But could I do it? Yes. Is that where my heart is at and my purpose? No. So I really focus on, once again, private readings, group readings, small group readings, maybe even large group readings like the Carol Baldwin, where a large group reading, only selective people will come in and they will, bring me to whoever it is that's meant to get read. The dinner groups at Medford Pastoria, there must have been, this last time I was there, about, probably about 100 people. And who's ever going to get read, it doesn't matter if there's 100 or 5,000, who's ever supposed to get read, that's what soul is going to come through.
Would you read Tommy tonight?
If something came through, I would. I will tell you two things. There's a young spirit that's with her there.
With Janine?
Yep. A young spirit who died tragically, who's been in that booth with you the whole time that I've been here. And I feel like he says that he was too young to pass, and I feel it may have been, I don't think this is blood, by the way, Janine. I feel like he died either in a car crash or there was something where it was a tragic ending. But he's very young, and I kind of feel like you may have known his family or something, but I kind of feel like he really needs to get a message to them through you, because you actually are very open.
She is.
You're like a vessel in there. I'm over here talking to them, and I'm seeing all these spirits around you. I mean, all good, but you are an open vessel. And I feel like I don't know if you know him, and I don't know if there's Michael that is by you. Who's Michael?
2 years ago.
Who is Michael? I mean, do you know? You know, right? We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk.
You came up with the name Michael?
Yeah, for her, it's significant. Yeah, she knows.
What was his name? If you tell me
No.
Michael, I'm leaving.
No.
And also between you two, and I think this might be for you, actually, there is an, you had to do this. There's a male who I feel he's an older male, but he had a lot of problems with his legs. I don't know if he couldn't walk or he felt very trapped by the fact that his mobility was very stifled. He was close to you, so you knew him well. I don't know if one point he was in a wheelchair or there was something with sugar diabetes, now he is between you two, just so that you know that. But I feel like I'm not saying that's what he died of, but I feel like he said he had a lot of problems with his mobility. He felt like he was actually a physical mess, health-wise. I also feel he had a drinking problem, and he kind of says he's sorry for maybe doing things that he shouldn't have done, said things that he shouldn't have said, and that he has many memories that he's putting before me when he was alive of being an alcoholic. That's what he says. And that he is learning a lot on the other side. For some reason, he needs to let you know that. It's like he feels like he didn't get it right in this lifetime, and he's working things out on the other side. For some reason, he really needs to let you know this. So he needs to just...
The uncle I was telling you about did have a major drinking problem. Oh, can you hear me now? Testing 1, 2, test. Testing my... Oh, it's off. I don't know why. Yeah, my battery's dead. Can you get me another battery there, Missy? Yeah, my Uncle Bob did have a drinking problem. He drank a lot of beer, but I don't ever recall anything being wrong with his legs. That I don't recall.
So are we on?
Yes.
All right, so I need to just say this because, so you have the one, which is Bob with the drinking problem. There is another male between you two that is saying to me, I don't know if he was crippled or he had a major problem, if he felt like there was something where he said that he had such a major emotional, not only a health issue, I mean, it was more than that. It crippled him. I feel like he felt very alone, he said. And I feel it was because of the emotional, being trapped emotionally, that brought him to the point of sort of isolating people. So I'm not sure who that is.
I have no idea.
Are you sure it's him?
Yeah.
I'm saying
You
he's
know anybody like
you
that?
have
my-
Bob and you have another one. So there's two males that are
My-
right between the two of you.
My uncle, which was my mother's brother, was a very bad alcoholic. He did say a lot of things that I still remember. He lived with my grandmother. He died but he had black lung from the coal mines. And he really never went anywhere. He never got out of his chair.
That's him.
And he was a very bad alcoholic. And I remember, like he would even tell me, because when I was a kid, I had freckles all over my face. And every time I walk in the house, which was every Sunday anyway, and he'd say, yeah, you were standing behind the screen again, and they threw horse shit at you. And that's how I got freckles. So now I honestly believe this guy, And
Yeah.
he did say a lot of off the,
Off the
not
wall, off
nice
color,
things. And,
sure.
And I don't ever remember him having a life. I don't ever remember him going anywhere other than sitting in that chair, ever.
But see, he wasn't aware.
But he also had a very, very bad job. He was the one that went in Auschwitz and everything and cleaned up all the.
I wonder why he
I don't think he
talked
could
like
take
that.
it. And he was in a hospital for a long, Veterans Hospital for a long time because of his lung. He had black lung. But I think he had stacks of pictures that we donated to a synagogue of pictures that even any History Channel never had or any place of all these bodies in racks. And I still remember them.
Yeah.
My brother still has his book, but this deck of pictures that no one's ever seen, no one. Unbelievable. All the ovens, everything. Unbelievable. And I think it tortured him.
Yeah.
I was probably 12 when he died, but I could see him, because I always wondered what, was he really that angry, and did he not love us, or,
He was trapped with
Yeah,
his,
that's how I feel.
That's
how I feel.
and he's got a long way to go on the other side, because he didn't say to me that I'm totally free. I feel like he was giving me the impression like he's learning a lot on the other side. He's putting in his time on a different level, because it doesn't matter what faith you are. Everybody, because we don't truly understand, but Catholics will say purgatory, whatever. There is no hell, we're living it. This is the worst it gets. So on the other side, there's varying layers of the white light, and depending on how you lived your life and who you were and who you are, is where you're going to be up there. Those are the two men that were here, and her person over there.
Well, there's two guys here.
Yeah, you're Bob, and you're the cripple. That's how he referred to himself, as he was just crippled in life.
He was.
And say your first name?
Mine? Tommy.
Okay, Tommy. There's another Tommy?
Hey.
Oh, you're both Tommy? Oh, okay, because they were saying Tommy. I'm like, why is he saying Tom? Okay, so it's for the both of you. It's separate. For you, I don't know if you're into, because I do want to say why, with that guitar, because that's very important to me, because that was a message for me personally, as I said when I first came in. But there's a lot of blue by you. Everything for you is blue. They're bringing that to me. Even as far as jewelry, that color is very therapeutic for you, whether you're aware of it or not. So that's something that you emanate to. Any color of blue, and different blues speak, different. But it's interesting because I keep hearing drumming around you, drumming. So I don't know in this lifetime if you participated in a full moon ceremony or there was something with that, but I see you.
I just went to Richie Haven's memorial, and there was a massive drum circle there.
Yeah.
And there was also my friend passed it on Yazga's farm, and we had a drum ceremony for him.
Yeah. So those people who passed with you going to pay tribute, they're here. Their souls are here. So they just so appreciated that you were part of that ceremony, because according to them, it was quite intense.
It was.
Quite intense. So they were just showing me.
It was very hard for me because he was one of my best friends. And he owned Yazga's farm, and he fought for 20 years to be able to have the reunions there. And we had them every year, but illegally. And this was the first year that he finally got, and he died in January, so he never saw it.
Oh.
So we had a big, we headlined the Woodstock reunion this year, and he always had me sing House of the Rising Sun, no matter where we were, if it was on a porch or in a car. And that's what I did, the first song, and I dedicated it to him. And then his daughter came over and went, my God, I can't believe that. Why did he pick that song? And I said, well, Janine said, because your father always wanted him to sing that song. And she goes, you won't believe this. As he was dying, he pulled her down, and he said, let's sing. And she said, what do you want to sing, Dad? And he said, House of the Rising Sun.
Isn't that amazing?
But the daughter didn't know anything about it. Freaked her out, in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because, it just comes around full circle.
Right.
But I will share with you that the reason I said that, because when I, walked in, the guitar, Vicki was going to move the guitar. I lost my son, 21 years old. He was my life, my light, my sunshine. And, I've done this his whole entire life. So he grew up with this. And I would always talk to I have 2 boys, and I would always talk to them about when I die, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take some of my ashes, put it in a vial, put it on your windshield and say, good morning, Mother. And if you don't do that, you don't remember me every day, I'm going to haunt you. And I would always tell them about how beautiful it is going to be on the other side and all of that. And so, almost 4 years ago, October 4th, 2009, my beautiful 21-year-old passed. He was a guitar player. He was a singer. He was an actor. He was at such a beautiful, magnificent point in his life. And I said to him, as I always say to him every single day, because when you're a mom and you lose a child, 24/7, you're thinking about your son, 24/7. And this is my hell on earth. And I said to him, Jamesy, just, let me know you're here. Let me know, you're right by my side. So ironically, because he went everywhere with his guitar. Somebody mentioned James, he had a guitar, he whipped that guitar out and started playing, and he had a beautiful voice. And so that was his way to let me know, I'm right by your side, Mom, I'm never going to leave it.
Wow.
So it's amazing, it's amazing.
And it's amazing, the chair that we picked for you to sit in is right next to the guitar.
Right next to the guitar. And that's what I'm saying, the things that they do, what he has done for me, because there's no words to really explain what happens to a parent when they lose a child. And him knowing how close we were, brought many things my way. The first year that he had passed, of course, it's still to this day, but it's a different kind of, you're broken open, you just feel like, everybody in the world knows you lost your son. There's no barrier. And I was driving around with my niece, who was just loved him, and she had wrote a song for him, and she was singing it. And we were driving, it was in a little bit of a snowstorm, it was right around Christmas, and she said, I miss Jamesy, I wish I could talk to him like you talk to him. And I said, he's going to send us a sign. I asked him to bring me a really big sign, and he's going to do that so I can at least get through Christmas. And we were driving probably about an hour, and everybody had their Christmas lights, and we turned a corner, Clark Street. And as we turned it and I went up, we stopped dead in our tracks, and I was driving the car, and she said, oh my God, Aunt Josie, look up. And I looked on the top of that house, and it looked like it was 10 feet, a sign, James, which is my son's name, on top of this woman's house. I stopped the car. It was in blue. That's my son's favorite color. And we just got out and we were sobbing and sobbing, and I could see the people in the family inside, and I thought, oh, they're going to come out and say, what's wrong with you? And I took a million pictures because I thought, this is unbelievable. Nobody.
They just had the name James written on the roof?
In lights. James in lights. I did not go in. I was out of my mind at the time, and I decided this is not the time to knock on this woman's door. And so New Year's Eve, I was with my girlfriend. We were going to go to out to dinner. And I said to her, would you mind, Joe, if I just, I have to go knock on this woman's door. And she said, sure, I'll wait outside. So I go up to her house, and I knock on the door, and I was tapping in, and she entered the door, and I said, listen, you don't know me, but I lost my son, and I feel like you lost yours too. Didn't know me from Adam. She just grabbed me, hugged me, cried. We both, cried our eyes out. And she said she lost her son. He was 9 months old, James. And she promised him that every year she would have his name in lights on her roof. And I told the story to everybody who would want to hear me. And it got me through that Christmas. And my son Michael said to me, well, you know what, Mom? You know Jamesy from when he was little. He always wanted to be in lights, always. He was an actor from the beginning. My son made a sign and surprised me for Christmas and put James, which is now on my roof, James in lights. It's really quite amazing what they do. It never ceases to amaze me.
Clark Street, have you ever driven down that particular street before?
No.
Was it in Brentwood?
No, it was in Port. I don't know if it's considered, because I didn't even know where I was. I don't know if it was, it's not Coram, so it must have been
Middle Island?
Maybe Port Jefferson. I'm not sure. Not sure, but it's like the border of there. And Clark, it's interesting because Clark Bar was my parents' favorite candy bar too, and I just thought the whole thing was just.
They were all together.
They sure are.
Josephine,
Bingo.
I don't mean to rush you. We got about 2 minutes left. Let's talk about your readings. Let's talk about how they can get in touch with you, your group readings, your single readings, and how somebody can find you.
Well, I have an office in Selden, which is right on Middle Country Road, and people come in and they can see me there for private readings. I do groups, which are a group of 10 where everybody does get read in the privacy of somebody's home, or I have my office where I have a room that's just set up for that if they want to come to me for a group. I also do events in restaurants where there's anywhere between 50 people to 150 people. And that's on my website on the josephineg.com on the calendar of events.
JosephineG.
josephineg.com.
Very easy to remember.
Yeah. And they can also go to Facebook, Josephine Griring Psychic Medium, and I have all of a lot of the pictures I put on there of when I do the readings, because I love to see the spirit orbs to let people see, even the people who get read.
Talking about orbs quickly, I just want to say, when we did, not this year when we did the Woodstock reunion, it was last year, and we were in this place, Hector's, that's been there since Woodstock, and I was at Woodstock. And we got up to perform at this place, and there was a set of pictures. I mean, everybody was taking pictures of us, but it was weird because the first picture that she took of us on the stage, there was 1,000 orbs, 1,000. And people that were there sent the same exact picture that they were also taking at the same time, and there were no orbs. And no other pictures on ours had an orb. Just one picture, but the entire shot is completely covered with orbs.
Yeah.
And I figured it was all the spirits that were, at
Sure
Woodstock
was.
that,
It sure was. That's
We're running out of
magnificent.
time. I want to thank you so much for coming on.
You're very
It's
welcome.
been a pleasure.
It should have been a 3-hour show.
Should have been. People, stay tuned. And coming up next is the Body Shop.
Body
with,
Mechanic.
It's called the Body Shop. Is the name of the show is the Body? Am I right?
You're right.
Why do you interrupt me? I know I was right. See, this is what
Well,
he
I
does
didn't know
all
you
the
were
time.
right.
Would you tell the guy between us to knock it off? Anyway,
Bob.
stay tuned for the Body Shop with the Body Mechanic and Cella. They're coming up next. They'll be on at 8:30. Tune in. A great show. They talk about wellness and what's good for the body. I'm Tom Mele.
I am Tommy Maher.
We will see you next week, same time, same place. And don't forget Ronald McDonald this Saturday. And I'm going to get into the camera because Richard, I know you're down in Florida right now and you're watching this show. So I want you to dig deep into that back pocket of yours and make sure you call and do something special for those kids. We'll see you next week. Yeah. Take care.
We'll have a banner across for send the money.
Have a nice night. That's it. Very